Today I'm so excited. I have just received 3 of these wonderful American pawpaw saplings. They're quite tall, they're as tall as me, and they're not to be confused with tropical pawpaws, which I usually call papayas, to be honest, but some people do call them pawpaws. These ones here are really hardy, they're not tropical, and they're members of the Custard Apple family, or sugar apple, and they are just so amazing. Now, if you lived elsewhere, not in England where we are really limited in what we can buy in fruit trees because of Brexit, so we can't get any trees from other countries, then you could get all kinds of grafted varieties that have been cultivated to produce some that taste better, taste differently. There's all kinds of varieties of tastes and everything, but because I'm here in the UK, the only ones I could get were these ones, which are grown from seed. And just like with apples, if you grow a fruit tree from seed, one of these from seed, you can't be sure what you're going to get, so it's really potluck. So I've got 3 here because although they have these beautiful perfect flowers that are first female then turn male, they need another tree there to cross-pollinate, because otherwise you won't get much fruit at all, if anything. So I've got 3 I bought here, and I'm going to do something else I've looked into, which is planting 3 trees in one hole. Usually you wouldn't want to do that, you want to separate them, but the thing is, these ones can get really tall, and there's all kinds of reasons for planting them in one hole. I haven't got space, and also what I've heard people say is that if you plant them all in one hole, then they'll be competing with each other a bit, and they won't get as tall as they could get if they were separate. And I'd like to keep them shorter because, well, because of space, and also just it's easier to pick trees that are smaller, pick fruits from trees. So we're going to get going. I'm going to go dig up a huge hole and plant these guys into it and just really hope for the best. There are only a few leaves on them, they are very deciduous, but I just wanted to show you something I noticed. It's that the leaves are so tropical looking and they look so much like avocado leaves. I actually have an avocado plant here. I'm growing a few from seed because I want to make a little bonsai out of, really random bonsai out of them. But if you look at the leaves here, that's my avocado sapling, and you can just see how similar that looks. Really beautiful sort of tropical looking leaves. They're not related at all. This pawpaw is obviously in the custard apple family and the avocados in the laurel family, but they just have that sort of tropical look, both of them. So digging my hole here, I just unearthed something really weird. Not quite sure what it is. It looks a bit scary. Just don't know, because this house used to be like an old farm, and so the house that we live in was like some cow sheds really, and I'm not really sure what that is. Just be a bit, get it out there. Upon closer inspection, my husband thinks it is a door handle, so nothing dangerous, so I can easily get on with digging. So I've got my hole here. It's quite large, and I think it'll be a really good place for them. I think they'll do really fine here. I think it's a great thing to plant them in 3s, because I mean there's such a symmetry in that number, isn't it? You see it everywhere in like children's fairy tales, to religion, to all kinds of things. I mean, it's just a great, well-balanced number. So I'm really hoping they're going to be happy here. There's also a bit of redundancy, so if one of the trees do die, I'll still have 2, which will still be good for them to cross-pollinate each other. So hopefully they'll all do well. The thing about pawpaws is that they don't like being transplanted. They have a really long taproot, and so, you know, if that gets damaged or anything during transplantation, that's pretty much the end of that plant. So I'm going to get it here, and hopefully they'll just enjoy it here. I can't really move them after that. I haven't got anywhere else to put them anyhow, but hopefully they'll just like life here. And I'll get them in and I'll show you how they look. Exciting. I've got some nice compost to put in that hole with them, just to give them some extra nutrition. I'm going to put some of the stuff I always put in, which is this root grow. I'm going to sprinkle that in to help the roots as well. And then give them some after plant feed as well, which is a good drenching of this. I always use this on my plants when I transplant them. So let's see how it looks in a minute. So just to show you, I filled up the hole with lots of really good compost here, And I put the plant in with lots of the root growers I showed you, and it looks like it's a good place. But I wanted to show you some of the roots too. So I've got the other one unpotted, and they haven't been touched. They just look, well, quite root bound, but just quite pot bound, but also healthy and not as if they've been pruned, which is what could be a real worry. So hopefully they'll do well. This is so wonderful. I'm gonna get him in too. So there we are. I've got them all planted in, all tied up together to the central big stake there. And hopefully they'll do really well here. I'm so excited. I think it's a lovely little spot for them. The apple tree's over there. And they get adequate sunshine, I think, I hope. I mean, actually it says they don't want really hot, full sunshine when they're tiny. But other people say they can take it. And at the moment they'll get hopefully just enough light for sure. We'll see how it goes. There's nothing I can do. I can't move them, as I said. But I'm not expecting huge things from them at first. They're said to, for the first year they sleep, so that you can't see it much on the top, but they're really, you know, shooting out their roots and concentrating on that. And then the second year they're supposed to be creeping, so you can see a bit on the top, but still it's mostly underground. And then the third year they leap, and so you can see lots going on there. So that's what I'm hoping for. And as they're not grafted ones, they're just grown from seed, it could be 7-8 years before I see any fruit at all. And then when I do, I'll finally know if they're nice fruits or if they're just unlucky ones. But I'm sure either way it'd be really fun to try them. Of course, if you have grafted one, you can have them much faster. You can have them fruits within 2 or 3 years. So that would have been nice, but we can't get them here in the UK unless you can somehow import them from other countries, and then it's really expensive and a really big, tricky thing to do. So I'm just going to try these guys out, and hopefully they'll do well. But I'll do updates, of course, and we'll see how they do if they all wake up in the spring, which I really hope will happen. They're supposed to be so hardy, and they should be okay in our quite mild winters usually. But we'll see, and I'll see you next time.